All right, joining us now is former Democratic Congressman from New York, Mondaire Jones. He's a lawyer and a commissioner for the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights. Let me ask you, do you agree that doing these preemptive kind of blanket pardons is a good idea?
Look, I think the incoming administration has shown a strong appetite to weaponize the Department of Justice, including the FBI, to go after Donald Trump's perceived political opponents. So let's just lay the foundation for this being an extraordinary moment in American history. For that reason, I think it is really important that Joe Biden, before he leaves office, very strongly consider and, in fact, move forward with preemptive pardons for people like Liz Cheney, Dr. Fauci, and others who would be unfairly prosecuted and investigated, which is an expensive process, by the way. Lawfare is what a lot of folks call it, even if it results in no prosecution whatsoever. I mean, this is the real weaponization of the Department of Justice that Republicans have been claiming falsely. Now they're prepared to do it.
Okay, but doesn't this kind of feed into the Republican narrative that these people have done something wrong? By pardoning them, aren't they going to point to that and say, see, they did need pardons, they are criminals, they did do something worthy of prosecution?
Republicans may well say those things, but of course, we're only in this situation today because of the active disinformation and misinformation campaigns around people like Dr. Fauci and former Congresswoman Liz Cheney, who have done nothing wrong, certainly nothing illegal.
I want to talk to you about President Biden making the decision after saying he wouldn't to, of course, pardon Hunter Biden and give him this kind of sweeping 10-year pardon. Congressman Clyburn agreed with Republican Senator Joe Manchin, who said that he understands the move, but suggested President Biden should go further and actually pardon Donald Trump of all his federal charges to, quote, make it more balanced. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I think
I can see by your face this is not a thing you're going to agree with.
Well, I think it has no logical basis. We're talking about Hunter Biden, who was charged with crimes that an average citizen would never have been charged with. It was only because of his relationship to the president that he was pursued in the first place. And you've got Kash Patel, the potential future head of the FBI, and Pam Bondi, who looks like she's going to sail through confirmation to be the next Attorney General of the United States, both on the record saying they're going to go after Hunter Biden, called him out by name repeatedly. So I think this is an example of someone who needed a pardon to avoid the weaponization of the Department of Justice and the FBI being brought to bear on him.
I also want to ask you, later this month, Democrats are going to decide who takes the top jobs on House committees. And there seems to be this push to hand the gavel to the next generation. This is obviously something that was a big issue in the past election. We've got 35-year-old Congresswoman Andrea Ocasio-Cortez. She announced yesterday she's running to be the top Democrat on House Oversight. She's pitting herself against 74-year-old Congressman Jerry Connolly. That position became available after Jamie Raskin, who turns 62 next week, put in his bid for the top position on Judiciary, which you sat on.
Yeah.
And that he's going after 77-year-old Jerry Nadler agreed to step down. Okay, this is a lot of ages, but basically there's a big chasm here. I usually cover foreign policy, and lately it seems all the more glaring when you go to these world events, G7, G20, and the American leaders are like aging on the other foreign leaders by 20, 30 years. Does there need to be a passing of the torch, not only the Democratic Party, but across American politics?
I got elected to Congress when I was 33 years old.
You're making me feel very underachieving right now, but please continue.
And I joined people who typically get there in their 60s and 70s. And that's especially true among Democrats in Congress, I've noticed. Even the Republicans do a better job of electing younger people, the new generation. Having said that.
Why is that, though? Why are Republicans doing a better job of electing young leaders? Isn't this supposed to be a Democratic thing?
It's a great question. Look, I didn't wait my turn when I ran for Congress. In fact, sort of famously started out as a primary challenger and then it became an open seat. But sometimes you got to sort of create a path for yourself. Because people who have been holding these positions for a really long time are certainly not going to just kind of step aside voluntarily in many instances.
No, I think we've seen that. Yeah.
Having said that, I think there is tremendous value added when someone has been serving for a long time and who has developed significant expertise. When I was there, as is true now, probably even more in a significant way, there is an appetite among some of the newer members for newer generations of leadership to take the helm, whether it be on a committee or in higher levels of leadership.
All right, former New York Congressman Mondaire Jones, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.